What's good, YouTube? You know who it is. It's your boy Neon Diamond 101 back again talking about Degrassi Next Class Season 4. Just some random thoughts that I had. Now, first of all, if you haven't checked out Degrassi Corner, I highly recommend it. Cool dude who talks about Degrassi knows way more than I do. I just talk about the episodes and whatnot and some predictions here and there, but he actually has more insiders and stuff. Watches some podcasts and Twitter stuff and auditions, and he knows more about Degrassi than I do. So definitely check him out. Link will be in the description below. And if by any chance you're watching this Degrassi Corner, keep doing your thing. On with the video. So it's been confirmed that season 4 there will be a graduation. Class of 2017 will graduate. Yes, we were all happy to graduate from high school, but this is one graduation that I'm not happy for because for a long time we have been invested in these characters, and I'm very sad that we're only going to have 10 more episodes of these characters. Although, here is a little just prediction for myself. I'm curious if Maya and Tristan will indeed be a part of this graduation. So, as we know in the Degrassi universe, students being held back is not anything new. The first person that came to mind was Spinner. Now I can't remember exactly because I mean it's been a while since I've watched his season or the last full season he was in. I want to say I'm not sure if it was the cancer, the treatment that he was held back for, and or his grades, because we all know Spinner wasn't exactly the best student. But I want to say off the top of my head, it was the cancer that had him held back. Um, and also Jimmy was held back as well, obviously because he was shot. I think some others were held back. I think like Drew, Dallas, Imogen. I'm not really sure why they were held back. Well, actually, Drew. I know Drew had some concussion stuff that went on, but I'm not really sure exactly. As well as Dallas and Imogen, I'm not really sure why they were held back. But as in real life, in Degrassi world, students are held back. So, with that being said, I have this prediction or feeling that perhaps, maybe, just maybe, Tristan and Maya will not graduate. Now we know Tristan has, the whole coma situation, and yes, he is smart. Also, Maya is very smart. But as we saw in the principal's office, they kind of allude to the fact that with her grades and her going downhill, it wasn't looking like she was going to graduate because they mentioned she switched schools and stuff, and she was like, "No, I don't want to." And so I'm kind of wondering, like, will they do that? Will they have Maya and Tristan come back one more season? Because I don't know, like, I know it's crazy and maybe it's kind of like a stretch, but like I think of like Jimmy and Spinner, like after the whole shooting and Spinner trying so hard to befriend Jimmy, and Jimmy wasn't having any of it. I'll never forget when they like reconciled, and it was like it felt good, and I'll never forget when I forgot they were like when Jimmy like pulled the fire drill, and like because Spinner was like, I forgot something, but it was something where like Spinner had to like they were like taking an exam and like Spinner didn't prepare or something, and then Jimmy revealed that he pulled the fire alarm and he like shows the glove or something. I just like them coming back after everything. I mean, they had been through like so much, like even before like the shooting, everything that their friendship and everything going on with their individual storylines. Spinner and Paige, Jimmy and basketball, Jimmy and Ashley. It just like their growth, both of them being held back, and it just like I'll never forget like their last seasons were just great. Like I just really that's one of the things I remember most about the end of Spinner and Jimmy is when they reconciled, and they're both held back, and then they like become friends again. And it's kind of sad because you're seeing Spinner and all grown up, and you see Jimmy all grown up in a wheelchair, and it's like, man, like these guys have gone through, like if you ever like feel the need to like binge Degrassi, like just go back and like really like look at how Jimmy and Spinner, like everything they went through. It's just really endearing to like watch. But anyways, enough of that little tangent. It kind of reminded me that possibly that could happen again, because obviously we know Maya and Tristan have like a huge history. Now I know they reconciled, I believe, if I can remember correctly, but I know they haven't been as close as usual. I mean, it seems like Zoe has taken that spot where like Zoe's like Tristan's like BFF, and obviously Tristan has Myles. And for the longest in TNG, I disliked Tristan. I hated Tristan. But in Next Class, I really think I grew to like Tristan more. Not saying he's my favorite character, but I think maybe if it was like the writers or like stuff. But obviously, we know Next Class changed from like the last few seasons of TNG, so obviously I enjoyed Tristan better. Anyway, so I think there's a possibility that with Maya, and we're not sure how Maya is going to be when she comes back because, like people who commit suicide, I mean, from what I understand, I know not everything is like black and white, never, not every case is the same, but from what I understand, people who commit suicide are like upset that they couldn't commit suicide, and we even saw like Maya in the bus when she took all the pills. She's like, I can't even do that right. So we're not really sure how her psyche is going to be, and obviously, Tristan missing a lot of the school year. I'm not sure if it's per semester each season, but he is still like he came back at the end of the season, but obviously he missed a lot of school, so I'm not really sure how they're going to do that. But let me just go down the list of everyone who is graduating next season. These are the seniors, and unless something crazy happens, then all of these guys are going to graduate. Um, Tiny, Grace, Winston, Myles, Goldie, Zig, Zoe, Esme, Jonah, Rasha, and Saad. Maya and Tristan are included in that, but I just think that there's a possibility, there's a small possibility that they might prolong them, kind of like the end of TNG for the end of Degrassi for Spinner and Jimmy. They're still in it together, so possibly Maya and Tristan could graduate. Maybe in like season 5 they could still stick around. I'm hoping because I don't want to see everyone go. But yeah, this is just me hoping. Possibly, I don't know. I mean, just look down the list, man. Let me just say a few words. It's not like they're dying. They're still alive. They're not going anywhere. But like Tiny, I mean, come on, Tiny. Him and his brother Vince. I mean, Vince goes way back to when Drew knew martial arts, and I keep saying this in all Degrassi videos when I talk about Drew. One of the funniest moments, I thought it was funny. I mean, it wasn't really funny, when they're showing it, but like when Drew like karate kicked Vince. Vince brought a gun to school, and like yeah. So I know Tiny has had like the whole history with like gangs and stuff, but he's really coming around. Grace, obviously, um, she's kind of like a punk rock chick and very good hacker, very good with technology, and she seems like a very loyal person, and I really enjoy Grace, and I'm gonna miss just her witty comments and all that. Winston Chu, uh, even though he cheated on Frankie with Lola, even though it was like a random kiss. I enjoy Winston. He's just like I don't know. I just find Winston kind of funny. He's just like he's a character. That's all I can see. He's a character. Myles Hollingsworth. Myles Hollingsworth III. Man, oh, I remember Myles coming on Degrassi and him and Zoe, and they were like the powerful couple, and he's the rich guy. And I'm like, I'm gonna hate this guy. And for the longest, I hated Myles. It wasn't until maybe Next Class, actually, which is ironic because I hated Tristan up until Next Class. So they're, I guess, in the same boat. I did hate Myles. I thought he was annoying, whiny. But Eric Osborne is a great actor, and I do appreciate that. And Myles has gone through a lot of growth, especially I like the fact with his father and stuff and how he handled that. Obviously, him and Esme had a past. I would have loved to see them interact more, but ever since then, they kind of act like none of them existed, except for season 3 when she attacked him. Yeah. So Maya, Matlin, man. Obviously, we think of Maya as music, and she's been in the band, and she's really talented, and she's I I think Maya, her innocence is kind of like how she wanted to grow. Like I remember um, what was it when she tried to like she like she there's an year where she like was drinking, and I was obviously that was after like what happened with Cam, and she kind of had this phase where she was kind of like, I'm just gonna do what I want, and she's always kind of had this like rebellion phase. And so yeah, Tristan, man, Tristan, uh it's weird because Tristan looked so much different when he first came on Degrassi, and I know he's brothers with Owen, which they never really. I mean, they kind of there was we knew they were brothers, but there wasn't really like a Tristan Owen storyline that I can remember. But yeah, Tristan, man, I've hated Tristan for a while. I just thought he was just really annoying. I don't know why. Um, I just thought he just came off as annoying to me. Um, but I slowly grew to like him in next class, so I'll give him that. Goldie, uh, uh, Goldie, I'm not really sure if I can say much about Goldie since she's exclusively next class. Um, I can't say I'm gonna miss Goldie. I mean, she had the whole feminist thing, and last uh, season we kind of saw more of Goldie. But yeah, I honestly can't say much about Goldie. So let me go next. Sorry, Goldie. Zig Novak, man. I'll never forget. Um, we have Zig with his longer hair, and him and Tori are dating, and him, Tori, and Maya are all friends. Man, man, that takes me back, way back to Degrassi, the good old days, even though it wasn't that long ago. Like it just because like the novella episodes were like 44 episodes, it feels like forever ago, but it wasn't really that long ago. Like what, 2, 3, 4 years ago, when they first came on, whatever it was. But yeah. So Zig Novak, obviously, we didn't really know much about Zig, and I was kind of frustrated until we found out that he was kind of like poor, and like his mom owned a shop, and I think he had a stealing storyline. I forgot, someone caught him stealing, but and I'm not sure if he dined and dashed or that was someone else. I think that was Zig. Yeah, I think he dined and dashed, and then Marisol caught him, if I remember correctly. But yeah, good old Zig. He's grown so much. Um, and there was a point in time where I thought they were gonna like write Zig off because there was a time where like Zig was like barely shown, and I was like, oh, they're gonna write him off like Casey or Wesley. But thankfully, they saw something in him to keep him around because literally there was a time where like we barely saw Zig, and this was in TNG. Um, I think it was around the time where they showed his gang storyline with that one guy. I forgot the one guy who like got stabbed and he like visited him in the hospital. Um, yeah. So next, Zoe Rivas. You know, I guess the closest comparison is kind of like a Manny character, although they're totally different. Like she's kind of like the whole like the actor or actress, sorry, and Miss Popular and everyone wants her and stuff like that. But Zoe has really gone through a lot, and I guess you could say like the Holly J transformation, where they're really mean character and then they transformed. Although Zoe did transform, but kind of went back to her bad ways with Zig in season 2. But yeah. Next, Esme. I really like Esme. I think out of all of the next class newbies, I enjoy Esme the most, just because I just really enjoy her dynamic with Myles in season 1, and I was very curious about like what her deal was, and obviously we know in season 3 we'll learn more about that. But I am gonna be sad to see her leave, although she is mean for like no reason. That's the only thing I don't like about Esme. But Esme, we're gonna miss you. Ah, Jonah Haak, Jonah Guyliner. I remember Guyliner coming in, and Becky's like, I think they were like doing the music thing or whatever. They were doing something. They're like partners for class or whatever. Whatever they're doing, Drew is suspicious. I actually believed Becky and thinking Jonah's gay. I don't know why. I just thought maybe he had that mysterious vibe and maybe, oh, he might be the new gay character or something. And so they ended up together, which I didn't like because obviously I thought Drew and Becky had something. And I don't know, something about Jonah really annoys me. Like, I just hate how he just swoops in and ruins all these relationships. First, Drew and Becky, and then Frankie and Winston. Although to be fair, Frankie and Winston weren't dating. She was just on the fence about if she wanted to get back together with him. But nope, Jonah was like, "Nah, I'm gonna swoop in." Um, but yeah, I'm gonna miss saying Guy Lanner. Although I still can say it, even though he's not gonna be there. Um, he is a talented rock star person, I guess. The only thing I wish we got more of his storyline, his drug storyline, and kind of like his backstory, because I believe he hinted at Becky that he was like a former drug dealer, and then he told what's her face? He told Frankie that he was in some anonymous group. And the last two, Rush and Saad, not really much to say about them because obviously they're new characters, so maybe you'll have more to say in season 4. But I'm gonna be sad. What do you guys think? I've been talking too much. Do you think Tristan and Maya will graduate? I don't think so. I think they'll be held back for one last hurrah. I don't know. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Peace.